Hi, everybody. This is day 1337. No sign of life. And this is the second live stream for today because it's been a big day and a positive day. So, trying to come on a little bit early because we have so much news. We've been working very, very hard behind the scenes. This requires, and what do I mean by this? Getting justice for Richard, finding Richard's remains, bringing them home. Justice for Richard. That's our goal. And if we can do some good for others along the way, just by standing up to this interference and this unbelievable wave of crimes, a lot of crime, then that will be just awesome, because we would really love to stop or at least restrain what all caused this, and also the cover up, because we have so much evidence of interference and intentional malice against the search and the investigation of our son Richard. And of course, the intentional harassment, retaliation, severe and continuous retaliation that escalated into his forced removal and his murder. And the terrible backlash that we have gotten, the harassment, imposters, it's so unbelievable to say it, but it's true. And let's just say you were the commander of Fort Bliss, and the normal protocol would be to have updates on your missing soldier, right? You would have maybe a certain day at a ball field too, that you would remind everybody about the missing soldier. Keep an eye out, but that's not, the response has been to shut everything down and to manipulate and to interfere and to mislead and to withhold evidence. And after almost 4 years, that's been the case. And you can tiptoe through it all, or you can say what has been happening and just give it to the public straight. And when we found out that Richard's case is intertwined with the Walmart mass shooting case, which has this huge, can you imagine the amount of money that went into orchestrating this, to create this narrative that this was a lone shooter, that this was a white supremacist with a manifesto of hatred, and to pay off. I don't know if they got paid off, but I'm just saying it seems clear that the mainstream media ran with this narrative, this insane, absolutely, obviously insane and false narrative, absolutely obvious false narrative of what happened on August 3rd, 2019 with the Walmart mass shooting. And so in order to make that narrative run like that, can you imagine the money that it took, right? to orchestrate such a huge lie. And the problem, with standing up against a lie like that is that people might think and misconstrue the truth and your stand because it interferes with the search and the investigation and the case of our son Richard Halliday. They might misconstrue that that you're a racist, or that you're uh, I don't know, have some kind of other agenda. And that is the risk you take when you're standing up to this kind of narrative. And that's why they use it. That's why, even as insane as it is, when you look at the hard evidence, when you look at the hard evidence and the irregularities and the circumstantial evidence, obviously it was a shooting by a mass shooting by multiple shooters. Obviously, a thousand plus bullets didn't just come from a lone shooter. Um, Obviously, uh, with the background of the victims and the witnesses and who they're connected to, obviously this is there's more to it. Let's just say that there's more to the story, deeper roots into this mass shooting. That and the thing is, you cannot deny the fact that our law enforcement community, certain individuals in it, participated with it, and you cannot deny the fact that there is a real huge possibility, a most likely possibility, that our military was involved in this terrible mass shooting. And why do I say that? Because of the responses, okay? Because of the responses. They're abnormal. They're not what a caring, truth-seeking, justice-seeking military or law enforcement community would do. To develop a narrative within an hour, right? Within a few hours, just a few hours, develop a narrative, backpedal everything that you are finding out, and just go with a certain narrative. It's obvious. And for the military, whose job it is to defend the land and the people, right? The land and the people, the Constitution, which, to defend the Constitution is to defend the land and the people. And to have that duty, and to just let this run like it is, just let so many things happen like they're happening, it's obvious that there are individuals that are up to no good, mean no good, mean harm. And so to risk some people misconstruing our motives and intention is it's a privilege. It is a privilege, because when all is said and done, everyone will know that our intention is absolutely authentic and admirable for the love of all people, for to find Richard, to bring justice for Richard, to bring justice to El Paso, to the victims of this horrendous crime, which is, the victims that lost their lives, but also that transcended that into the El Paso community, the outlining area, and into Mexico, okay, and into Mexico. And that brings, a very, very clear picture that we are, I was born in at White Sands, going over to Mexico all the time. So this has nothing to do with any kind of hatred towards people. Matter of fact, it's the opposite. It's the love of people. And it's really the hate of this kind of crime. That's what it is. And I really do like the word hate. And that's probably going to come back. But I hate crime. I hate pornography. I hate child sex pornography. I hate pedophilia. I hate murder. I hate thieves, stealing millions and billions in weaponry and manipulating the weapons and then selling them into Mexico to create this chaos that's in Mexico right now where people are getting killed. I hate that. I hate that. I hate these officials being so corrupt. I really hate that. And, you know, so it's, the word hate is not just reserved for something bad. It can be something good. And to hate evil, to hate harm that comes to children, to hate the manipulation of narratives, so to kill people and to cover up the killing of people is, um, you just have to pick your definition, right? You have to pick your definition. So, uh, with this, I want to talk about, we have breaking news, but first I want to talk about the medical examiner, Mario A. Rascon Ortiz. Um, Mexican, I believe he's Mexican, studied in Mexico. And, that's wonderful. Mexico has a very rich history. And Mexico City is an ancient city. And ancient, there's just so much absolutely beautiful. That's why so many of us in the United States choose to vacation in Mexico because we love it. We love the culture. It is a particular culture, whereas in the United States we're such a melting pot that we don't have really a particular culture, and so we all have to get along with each of our the way we were brought up and the culture that we were brought up in, and it makes us very unique in that respect. But we love to go visit where there are these particular cultures, and Mexico, it's just beautiful. um, but the crime that's happening there, the corruption that's happening there is detrimental to that particular culture, and it's causing many to have to leave their beautiful country and come to the United States. Some of them get let down by what's going on here, but they come here because of the banks being secured. uh, so they think, but and I am absolutely pro the United States, and we were very law abiding, and we could depend for the most part. There's always crime, but you have a justice system that is supposed to be fair, and a banking system that's supposed to be honest, and you have these things here, or at least reaching to be honest, right? And having the oversight and everything. And so many people want to come here to do banking, to live, to work, to make their riches, and they send those back home, a lot of them. But and my mother, being German, becoming an American citizen in 1965 at White Sands Missile Range, believe it or not. You know, I'm absolutely from a bilingual family. I understand immigration, absolutely. Um, so, with that, there are still laws that have to be followed to be a country, to have a country. You know, there is a border between Mexico and the United States, and that means jurisdictions, jurisdictions of the law, jurisdictions of law establishes, uh, the law, who, it just, it's a different country. And so and that is only possible with a border, with a wall, with law, right? That's it. Just like you live in your house, and people just can't come into your house and sleep in your bed and take a shower, uninvited. That's your house, and that's your yard. And many times we put a fence up. This is our domain. And it has nothing to do with not being welcoming, not wanting people to come over. It's just that is what you mow, that is what you take care of, that is what you are responsible for. That's, your little kingdom, your little castle. And that always made America great, is those property laws, those inheritance laws. And that's why I've had, the pictures of Theodora and Justinian behind me. And so, uh, you know, that those laws have to be followed in order to get justice in the courts. And so, where am I going with this? I'm going to the chief medical examiner. The chief medical examiner is not an American citizen. Okay, does he have a visa to be here? Fine, fine, right? But he is in a position that is a very important position. That's why the American taxpayers, the Texas taxpayers, pay almost $500,000 a year salary to the chief medical examiner. And the chief medical examiner is part of the judicial system. The last months we've been looking this up since we found out that he is not, um, let me see, I'm just going to do this from the top of my head because we've been looking it up so much. But that he's not an American citizen. He might be here legally, right? He is very, very wealthy. Okay, there's nothing poor about him. He is educated. All that. This is not anything to bash him about. Okay, the fact is that this position of chief medical examiner has laws around it because it is a judicial position. And in order to hold this judicial position, why is it judicial? Because he can issue subpoenas, he can issue warrants, he has to testify in a law of court on the death of people, the remains of people, suspicious deaths of people. And being in that position, he gets access to identities, personal information, and more and more. He very sensitive information. He gets access to that, and he can also act like a judge acts. So that is really, really important for everyone to know. about the chief medical examiner. And because of that, in the Texas Constitution, it says you have to be an American citizen. So it's not me that says that the chief medical examiner has to be an American citizen. It is the Texas Constitution. It is the law of the land, just like you have a law of the land in Mexico. And I'm not going to tell Mexico who can be their chief medical examiner. It has to be part of their law, just like it has to be in Texas. And the Texas law says that you, as a chief medical examiner, with that kind of responsibility over the remains of so many people, even involved in crimes and suspicious deaths, and having to investigate that, and having access to all of that personal and very sensitive information, because of the criminal nature of deaths that he would have to handle, or she would have to handle. You have to be that position has to be an American citizen, okay? And that is the law, not me. So it's not me that's passing judgment on Mario Rascon Ortiz. Not at all. It is just the law of the land. And I think that that is very, very important to know, because if I can figure it out, if Team Find Richard Halliday can figure it out, I'm sure that whoever appointed him, whoever approved his visa to come over, whatever, however that happened, they absolutely knew through the appointment process. Because look, you're not just going to appoint anybody to a $500,000 salary job, okay? You know that you have to vet that person, that person needs to be qualified. And so to see how that happened, the qualification of that position, how he was chosen, is very important in this case, because something went wrong. He's not an American citizen, and something went wrong. He is the one that intelligence is telling us, and he handled Richard's remains. And he also handled the remains of the victims of the Walmart mass shooting. Okay, so let's say, you're up to no good, and one of the people in the mass shooting died the day before at 6 o'clock in the morning, 6 a.m. You need to have an honest, and I'm not saying he's not honest. This is just an example. Chief medical examiner that's going to put the right day and time on the death of that person, and also the cause of death. And, did he handle Glendon Oakley Jr.'s remains? This is very, very important to Richard's case, and of course the Walmart mass shooting case, which of course is intertwined with the case. And when one gets solved, the other will get solved. And that's why in the DA's office, we're asking for information for both of those cases. And both of those cases, our son's case and the Walmart mass shooting case, are in pieces. They're in pieces, or left in pieces. They're not coming forward. And you have victims crying out, oh my gosh, it's 5 years, and we have nothing. We do not even have any kind of scheduling order for the Walmart mass shooting case. Why not? And so it's clear by the results. You see it in the results and the responses. They speak volumes, and the cases are not moving forward. And it's their duty to move these cases forward. And what's really a shame is that they are wasting by not moving the cases forward. They are receiving millions of dollars to keep these cases in limbo. Just keep them in pieces, keep them in limbo. And it's not me saying that. It is Yvonne Rosales saying it. It's Loretta Lynn Hewitt that's saying it. It is Cox, the ADA, Curtis Cox that said it. It is, I'm thinking about all the people. It's the boss of John Briggs. What is his name? It's in my notes. But he said it. So this is not me saying this. I am just repeating what's going on in the DA's office. And to have millions and millions of dollars being used and abused. I mean, this is fraud, waste, and abuse of the American taxpayers. And if the American taxpayers go down and are defrauded and wasted and abused, then anybody coming into this country is not going to be doing well either. I mean, it's just as plain as that. Why do you want to defraud the American taxpayer, abuse them, waste them, and so that anybody else coming in, is not going to come into an orderly society, but into chaos. And who would want that, right? Who would want that unless someone is just up to no good all the way around, right? So, I think this is very, very important to understand, and I hope I explained it well. But we have very good news. I can't even get down about thinking of this mess that the chief medical examiner position is right now, because all of those remains that he presided over or did the autopsies over and did because he is not an American citizen that's required by the Texas Constitution, he has put the prosecution of all the crimes involved in these remains at risk. At risk. All of it, all the legal prosecutions now are at risk. So, that's a real problem. That's a huge problem. So that's why it's important to us that we're looking into this. And so if you know anything about it, please let us know. But we have been really researching it, and absolutely Chief Medical Examiner Roskin Ortiz, Mario Roskin Ortiz, has to be an American citizen, and he's not. So he is in that position illegally. Who put him there? Why did they put him there? And what is this going to mean for cases moving forward that he was involved in? It's very concerning. So let's see if I have any questions. Okay. So the other news that we have, the breaking news that we have, is that the tampered photograph that was issued to Interpol for the yellow missing persons notice by law enforcement, who we would like to know who that is, right? We would like to know who that is. We think we know who that is, but we would like to know who the law enforcement agency was that gave Interpol a tampered picture, because that picture was not Richard. And by the measurements of the face and the way the picture was manipulated, it seems to have been it seems to have been Richard's platoon leader, Dallas Hart, overlaid, you know, commingled and everything on this picture. And it was not Richard. And we had a real problem having a tampered picture up on the Interpol. And so this is very, very good news that Interpol took that down, because Interpol just doesn't say, oh, okay, I'll take it down and put up. No, this has to be done through law enforcement agencies, and they have to vet these pictures. This is that picture, and they have to approve it. So there was an investigation necessary in order to take that picture down and then um, put up a picture that is of Richard, that accurately depicts Richard. And so that's what happened. And that's really, really good news, because that means those law enforcement agencies worked together, and they had, it's been determined that that picture was manipulated. And if you want something to compare it to, you can compare it to what's really big in the news right now, and that is Princess Kate, the Princess of Wales. Her picture, the last time I heard, it's still a mystery. Where is she? Where is Kate? She's missing. They say she's not missing, but the people are missing her. And she put out this Mother's Day, because Mothering Sunday is on Rose Sunday in England, and they put out this tampered with picture of her with her children, and it was so bad and so obvious that AP had to take it down, had to take down the picture. So yeah, it's very easy in today's world to tamper with photographs. And that is what happened in Richard's case. But I think it's not just, oh, let me give the media a picture. No, this was a law enforcement agency that gave the International Law Enforcement Agency, Interpol, a tampered picture. And that is very, very concerning too. But we have that taken down. So that's great news, wonderful news, and breaking news. Um, that gives us an opportunity to talk about why Interpol even has a yellow notice for Richard. And that's because Richard's case is a binational case, which corroborates also Nadal Baim's testimony, the FBI agent that testified that Richard's remains were found in Mexico. So that's really very, very important to understand, that that's why Interpol has a yellow notice up for Richard, and it's not a red notice, okay, because Richard is a stellar soldier, which is clearly seen in the body cam videos of January 25th and 26th of 2020. He's just a stellar soldier and so beautiful. And we are still waiting for the okay to release that video, or part of that video. It's 2 hours long. So to release part of that video, and we will absolutely do it as soon as we can. A lot of things being looked at in that very, very important video. Beautiful Richard being a stellar soldier, respectful, absolutely sober, and yeah. So I'm eager to share it with everybody, but we're having it looked at first. Okay, so thank you so much, everybody. Please share. Absolutely, please share, and please comment and like. And we will be back tomorrow. Thank you, everyone. God bless you. Justice for Richard. Bye bye.